Hello everybody! For those who may have forgotten or don't know, this is my car, a 2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5. I've had this for 3 full years. This is now its 4th year, and I'm about to take it up to Milwaukee to visit a friend. And I wanted to bring you along for this process because as time has gone on, it's become apparent that a lot of people are still struggling to imagine what it's like to have an electric car which you can charge at home and which you can charge on the road. And so, to be honest, I'm just going to bring you along for this ride. From where I am now to my destination is about 95 miles away, so round trip we're looking at about 200 miles all in, which my car could do if it were completely charged, but it would be a bit of a nail biter in this cold weather. It's not that cold, it's early spring now. And here's the kicker, the car is only at 70%. But this is why I want to make this video. It doesn't necessarily take a huge amount of planning to be able to use an electric car and just go somewhere, and I want to show you the process. Okay, so here we are sitting in the car. I have reset the trip meter for the purposes of the video. We're at 71% state of charge, and I have 40,027 miles on the car. Now, because I'm going to be going about 200 miles round trip, I don't have quite enough range to make this journey. But there are multiple charging options on the way there, and there is a charger that I want to stop at. Now, I'm going to go through the one weakness of this car. It's only fair to show you this, and that is battery preconditioning. So with an electric car, in order for the battery pack to accept the maximum charging speeds, it needs to be warm. And the weather outside right now, it's not warm enough for the car to get the fastest speeds. The car can heat up its battery pack, that's what battery preconditioning is, but Hyundai and Kia, for the first 3 model years anyway, decided they were going to copy Tesla's automagic approach. And they didn't do it very well, which means to get the car to battery precondition, you have to tell it you are navigating to a fast charger. Now, it will automatically route plan for you. It doesn't do a very good job. It didn't do it at all when I first got the car, but with some software updates, it will do an automatic route planning. But the thing is, I don't need that. I know where I'm going, and I really just want to be able to press a button that says start preconditioning when I'm maybe 40 miles away from the charger. But I don't have that option. So the problem is, with Hyundai's system, I have tried twice to search by a point of interest to say, I want to go to this fast charger, and it has not worked because for whatever reason, it didn't recognize that it was a charger in the logic. Don't really understand what was happening there, but I'll show you the workaround. So the charger I want to stop at is at a Flying J in Franksville, Wisconsin. So I'm going to have it navigate. I'm first going to find some place in Franksville. Sure, pick that address. No idea where that is, but we're going to say route. So before I just let the routing go, I hit add stop, and here's where it's not difficult, but it's annoying that you have to do this. So I'm going to say add stop, nearby points of interest, EV charging stations, near our destination, and apparently my point wasn't super close to where it is. This is where I want to stop, the Pilot Travel Center. I guess it's a Pilot, not a Flying J. So if I add this to the route and hit OK, then now it's going to show the Pilot Travel Center and on our way to Franksville, we can do this route. Okay, real quick, I want to clarify something. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is a very stupid and bad thing about my car. But this has nothing to do with electric vehicles or battery preconditioning or how to charge them. This is due to Hyundai and Kia having an utterly crap software implementation, which has forced me to do this stupid nonsense. And the reason I have to do this, and this is why I get a little cranky about Tesla and their fans, is that Hyundai and Kia decided to do the automatic approach, where the car is just going to decide where you're going to stop to charge, and in that process, it's going to decide when and how it needs to precondition the battery. But the thing is, while I think that's a cool feature, when I don't need the car to do that, it gets in my way. And this is a problem. If I told the car where I was going, it would have been like, well, you don't need to charge. So it would have just taken me directly there. But because I wanted to charge on my way there, that way I didn't have to charge on my way back, I need to trick the car into thinking I'm stopping at this DC fast charging site, when what I could do, if the car didn't hide its functions from its users, is press a button to turn on battery preconditioning. And here's the real problem here. As the charging networks grow, my car needs to know where these new chargers are in order for me to use battery preconditioning, and that's just asinine. I don't particularly care to have my car connected to the internet. In many ways, I don't want my car connected to the internet. But the operating paradigm that I'm forced into now means probably I'm going to have to keep paying for BlueLink, which I've never paid for. I let the trial expire because I don't really use its features all that much. But unless the car can get an update from the database on where new fast chargers are, it will not battery precondition as I approach them, which makes the car a worse car. So what we really need, what I really want, is a button that I can press so I can make my own decisions. And credit where it's due, Hyundai and Kia have added that button for the 2025 model year. But unless and until they give it to us poor saps who bought the car early because we wanted to support it, this is a massive thorn in my side and is going to make the car more difficult to use as time goes on. So please, if anyone watching has any connections at Hyundai or Kia, give us the button. But anyway, now that we've gone through this nonsense, the car will precondition on my way up to Franksville, and we can get going. Okay, so I've moved away from the map, and I will show you when I'm on the road how the car shows me that it is actually battery preconditioning. That way you can verify that you're going to get the fastest charging speeds. And if for some reason traffic is bad and I can't actually film it, there's going to be a symbol that shows up on the battery little thing there. So let's get going. Okay, so as expected, we got here with about 35% state of charge. It is still showing the what I call the hilarious glow plug indicator, because normally that symbol is used to indicate the glow plugs are on in a diesel engine. But the battery is still being heated. And I took a picture. It uses about 4.5 kilowatts to heat the battery, which is partially why our efficiency is lower. We're using more energy so that way the battery pack is warm so it can accept the maximum amount of power when I plug it in. So let me do that. I picked this charging station in large part because it's managed by EVgo, and I have an account with them, so I don't need to fuss with payment. I should not have backed up this far. One moment, please, while I get connected. I think we're connected. The connector didn't feel super solid. And payment has been authorized. Here, chunka chunks. More ka-chunks. Oops, I wanted to look at there we go, that's what I wanted. That's pretty good. Time to go back in the car now. So I want to get to 80% state of charge, and the car's predicting that's going to take 15 minutes. And it might actually be a little bit faster than that because I'm not sure if we are a little bit under the window where the car can maximum charge. Its peak rate is about 240 kilowatts, but I mean, I'm not going to complain about 200. So yeah, I'm going to be here for about 15 minutes. If I wanted to, nice thing about being a pilot, I can go over there and use the bathroom, get some coffee, convenience store, whatever. It's almost like charging at a gas station, or a truck stop really, is a good experience. But overall, to do this 3 hours of driving, I need to make one 15-minute stop. And that's it. And as you can see, we are very rapidly increasing the state of charge. And again, this car is, if you don't know, it's exceptionally quick at charging. But, you know, total time took me a little over an hour to get here. And I think I'm about 25, 30 miles away from my destination. I don't remember exactly. But that's all we're going to do here is just sit here for about 15 minutes. The thing that I've been kind of struggling with as I've been trying to communicate electric vehicles lately is the fact that while I charge at home almost all the time, it's not as if I'm tethered to that charger. I think people are having a bit of a hard time realizing that you have access to both paradigms if you have home charging. And again, I've said this many times, I know not everybody has home charging, and I wish we were spending so much more effort than we are trying to get level 2 charging at apartment complexes and workplaces. Because while this experience isn't bad, it is much more expensive than charging at home. And we don't want to have to build a bunch of these chargers. They're so much more expensive infrastructure. There's a huge pad mount transformer for these two chargers because they can both put out 350 kilowatts. So you're talking 700, 0.7 megawatts for these two little chargers here. So these things should only be for what I'm doing now. I'm going to be very disappointed in us if we can't figure out how to get apartments to have level 2 charging. The same circuit that powers a clothes dryer will give you 100 miles of range overnight at least. That's a winter range in a car like mine. Summer range, a clothes dryer circuit in 10 hours is going to get you 150 miles of range. So AC charging needs to be much more widespread because, again, it's difficult to get people in this mindset, but when you're asleep, you don't have to care how long your car takes to charge. You just have to care that it gets enough range overnight. And as I was trying to show, and part of what I planned for this video was, I did not start this day with the car fully charged. It was only 70% charged. And the last time I charged my car was 2 nights ago. Yesterday I went to work and back, and then I left from work. So in those 2 days, we went from 80%, which is what I have it charged to at home, down to 70%. And I just decided to leave from work and come up here to, I don't know exactly where I am because it says Franksville is where this pilot is, but the exit said Caledonia and I'm near Racine, so somewhere around there. But just boom, get in the car, drive an hour, find this charger, plug in, and I'm going to be here for 10 more minutes. It's not that big of a deal. Is it as fast as refueling a gasoline vehicle? No. But the thing is, when I get home, I'm going to plug the car in like I always do, and then it's going to start charging at 11:30 and stop charging at 5, and probably it's going to be back up to at least 70%. I might be getting home with kind of a low state of charge because I'm not where I'm going yet. And then from there, I'm going to go straight back home. I could have made it to my destination and then come back this way, but that would have probably been a little bit riskier than what I decided to do now. And there's also more chargers. There's more chargers than there have ever been for non-Tesla vehicles. And those networks are growing really, really fast. In the case of my car, I am going to need to get an adapter and live with that life for a while, or once the NACS chargers start showing up. But because that adapter exists, I'm good to go. Uh, yeah, so we're already at 60%, well, 57%. The car thinks, honestly, I'm surprised the car thinks it's going to take 9 minutes to get to 80% if we're already at 57. I think it's being very pessimistic because we're at 151 kilowatts still. But whatever, I don't know why it thinks that. But I hope that this video, and I'll continue on, I'm not ending here, but I hope you can see that this did not really take any planning. The dumbest thing is just making my car precondition the battery because because for some reason Hyundai won't just give us a button that says turn on battery preconditioning. I'm hoping they will. I've heard a rumor that there's some licensing reason they can't. I don't know if that's true or not. But, you know, I've actually been at this station before and I did not bother to precondition. This was about a month ago, I think. And I did not get very fast charging speeds because the battery was cold. But it meant that I was here for about 25 minutes rather than the 15 that I'll be here for now. So honestly, not that big of a deal. Because, again, this is a pilot. There's an Arby's. I've not had Arby's in years and years, so I have no idea what I would get there. But, you know, it's a pilot. It's actually a pretty good experience. I wish these were under canopies. This is not a canopy site, but, you know, it's not too bad. And just to give you an explanation, so the reason why I didn't have to present payment, EVgo, who manages the, this is technically, the Pilot Flying J thing is arranged through GM Energy, but EVgo is doing the back end. And so this is an EVgo branded charger as well. And they have a, honestly, pretty clever system called auto charge, which basically most cars, not all of them, there are some that don't do this, but most cars have a unique MAC address because the complexities of how CCS works is kind of nuts. I don't know why they designed it this way, but when I connected my car to the charger, it negotiated an Ethernet connection over power line communication. You don't need to know any of this, but the important thing is my car has a unique MAC address, and through signing up to auto charge, the car will basically, or the charger just pulled the car, said, what's your MAC address? It looked up my account. And that's convenient. It's not a game changer though if they just had credit card readers on the chargers, which these do, to be fair, but I just mean as an industry-wide thing. I don't particularly care to have automatic charging if they could figure out how to get the chargers to be as reliable as a dang vending machine. But anyway, that's a bit of a rant. I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to be able to unplug in less than 5 minutes and I'm going to use the bathroom. And having walked back from the bathroom, I'm at 75% state of charge already. I could, in theory, unplug right now, but I'm going to wait till it gets to 80 just to give me a little bit extra range. But for those who aren't super familiar, this is what's really special about the Hyundai Kia eGMP pack. Being able to pull 130 kilowatts at this high state of charge is very uncommon. I got back in the car. I want to see if the car will do the thing that has been affectionately been named the Korean siesta. These cars, when they hit 80%, sometimes it does it at 81, they will basically just stop charging for a few minutes. And my understanding is Hyundai has done this to they're basically overdoing it a little bit to try to get you to that 80%, so the battery might be a little too toasty, and so it will stop. There it goes. So it's going to stop, and now it's going to keep showing about 6 kilowatts. It's going to keep running the air conditioner compressor to cool the battery off. So if you were to go outside, you probably can't hear it very much right now, but it's basically going to pause for a little bit and cool the battery. So if I really needed to get up to 100%, I would sit here until it finishes charging or resumes charging again. But how long it spends doing this pause has been variable. Sometimes it's been just a minute or two. Sometimes it's been like 5 or 6 minutes. So I am just gonna unplug and go on my way. Okay, the day's shenaniganing is done. So I'm gonna be heading back home, but I wanted to point out, current estimated range is 168 miles. I have gone 29.6 miles from when I last charged. I need to go now about 100 miles and then I will be home. So I'm going to do that. And I have made it home. So, went about 100 miles. To be honest, my state of charge is a little lower than I would have expected it to be. I was thinking it to be in the low 20s, but one thing that honestly, this was the first test of it. I just got new tires. I got the Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires, which are really cool tires because they are winter rated tires that you can leave on all year. But I was under the impression, or basically I was prepared to lose a little range getting these tires because they're a little bit grippier, and I saw somewhere someone said like an 8% range loss. I really don't know what particularly happened on this day because it's kind of chilly outside. 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour is not bad. This car is 3 is about what I would say average for highway driving, and this is practically all highway driving. But anyway, the most important thing is I'm home, still have 15% battery charge, and I'm going to plug in now. So to make this journey today, I was driving for over 3 hours, went from my home near Chicago to actually north of Milwaukee and back, and I spent just 15 minutes on a DC fast charger. And yeah, so I just wanted to make this video so people understand, hopefully, that like it's gotten a lot easier. I did not have to really plan any of this. And one thing I will say, because I know I have my charger at home, I'm comfortable letting it get down this low. Like, I know if you're not used to, I can imagine like if I had to get gas, I wouldn't want my car like really, really low. I would probably have stopped at a gas station on my way home. But because I have a gas station at home, I don't need to do that. I'm going to plug in. Now, my charger is a 7.5 kilowatt charger, which means to get back to 80%, which is where I would have it normally stop, we have to recover 65% state of charge. It's going to take a 7.5 kilowatt charger somewhere between 7 and 7.5 hours, I would say, to get that back. And one final thing, which I'm just going to say, it is now 12:42 and my car will stop charging at 5 a.m. And that's set up to get the cheapest charging overnight. So that's when my electricity rates are cheapest. So I'm only going to have it charge for a little over 4 hours tonight. That's going to get me well above 50% charge. And here's the thing, that's fine. The only thing I have to do tomorrow is go to the office and hopefully finish a video that I've been working on forever. And my typical daily use is about 10%. So tonight, even if I only got it back to 40%, I would be more than fine. But we're going to get beyond 50. And I guess I'll check in the morning so that way you can see how that works. But for right now, I'm just going to plug the car in, go inside, and probably go to bed. And I figure just for effect,
charging started.
Okay, one final thing. It's actually predicting it would take 6 hours and 50 minutes to get back to 80%. Just figured I would give you that estimation. Good morning. It's the next day, so let's see how charged the car is. 53%. Now, here's the thing. Some people might be bothered by the fact that the car didn't get to where I wanted it to get to overnight. But it didn't have to, because all I'm doing today is driving to work and back. That's going to use at most 10% of the battery capacity. Now, I have a short commute, but like even if I had a longer commute, there's a projected 119 miles of range with 53% charge. The thing that I'm really trying to help more people understand, because this really, as I see people think about this, it's just not clicking. You don't have to treat your car like either a regular car where you fill it up and then you just use it as you go down, or a phone. It's okay if it doesn't completely charge overnight. All you need is enough to get where you're going. And remember, the only reason it's not at 80% is because it stopped charging at 5 in the morning. It is now after 10 o'clock. So it could be at 80%, but my electricity starts to get more expensive after 5 o'clock. So I have the car programmed to stop charging. That's the only reason it's at 53% right now. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to work today. I'm going to hopefully finish the video I'm working on. And then when I come home, I'm going to plug in again. And tomorrow it will be at 80%. There is a mindset shift with using an electric car that I realize a lot of people just cannot imagine until they live with the car. And I can show you this. I can show you these numbers. I can show you the fact that I went to Milwaukee yesterday. I spent 3 hours in the car, spent a grand total of 15 minutes actually waiting for the car to charge. That charge cost about $20, by the way. And then I came home, plugged it in, and the car charged for only a little over 4 hours while I was sleeping. And it may not be full, but I don't need it to be full. And even if for some reason I had some emergency situation come up and I needed to get to Iowa right now, I have a DC fast charging station about a mile away from my home. I can plug in there, wait another 10 minutes. We're already at 53%. With a cold battery, it might take like 20 minutes to get up to 80%. But I mean, you don't have to imagine yourself as being tethered to your home charger, but you also don't have to imagine your home charger as being well, I was about to say the same thing. You don't have to imagine yourself to be tethered to your home charger. You can go to a DC fast charger and use this car in a very similar way that you use it to a gasoline powered car, or you can plug it in at home and charge slowly overnight. And the thing that I really hope you understand, 53% charge in this car is a lot of driving distance because this car's got a really big battery. And the thing is, I might not even plug it in when I get back tonight because typically I wait to plug it in until it's at 30%. If I'm not getting home very late, then the car starts charging at 11:30. And from 11:30 to 5 a.m., that's enough time for it to recover at least 50% of the battery capacity. I think in exactly it's like 53, 54%, but it works out that when I plug in around 30%, in that 5.5 hours, it's going to be back to 80%. And typically I do that about weekly. All the lights in my garage just turned off because they're on motion sensors. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this makes sense to you. A lot of people continue to believe that living with an electric car takes a ton of planning, is a huge sacrifice. It means you can't go anywhere when you want to go. And that's just not true anymore. It's gotten so much better as time has gone on. And you're smart. You know what your needs are. You can figure out when you need to charge your car. It does not need to be a mystery. It just takes a tiny bit more thought than reacting to a fuel gauge and fueling up when it shows empty. Okay, bye.